Hey guys, what's up? This is B coming to you from G&A today. So what I want to do in this video today is I'm going to do a comparison of the Smith Wesson M&P 1522 to the Sig Sauer 522. I've got quite a few videos of doing comparisons between different tactical 22 rifles, and if you're interested in that, I'll put a link to several of those here. But I want to compare these two for you today. So both of these two rifles are actually made by the company's name who is stamped on this. This rifle is actually made by Smith and Wesson. This rifle is actually made by Sig Sauer. And the reason I'm saying that is some of these tactical 22s are made by different companies than what's stamped on the rifle. For instance, this H&K G36 is not actually made by H&K. It's actually made by Walther. Okay, and this Uzi that's stamped IWI right here, 22 version of it, is also made by Walther. Now that's not really a problem, but some people are upset whenever they find out that they buy an H&K 22 that it's not really made by them. You don't have to worry about that with these two rifles because it's made by the company whose name is stamped on the rifle. Okay, so the 1522 I have is the one that has adjustable stock. It's the threaded barrel with the flash hider on there. I think it's a 811033, I believe is the model number on mine. I put this Magpul furniture on here later after I had the rifle already. The Sig version I have is one of the earlier models, and I bought this rifle used, and this rifle was the double barrel combo that you could buy. There was a shorter barrel on here that was a threaded barrel, had a flash hider on here, and then the other one was this heavy 20-inch barrel. And whenever I bought it used off of Gunbroker, it came with this barrel, and I knew that, and I knew the guy didn't have the other barrel. I was good with that. The Smith is basically a polymer gun all the way throughout. The quad rail, this fore end, is polymer. The upper receiver is polymer. The lower is polymer. And the receiver extension here, buffer tube, whatever, is polymer. Actually, it's all just one molded piece here into the lower. So this rifle is basically polymer from stem to stern here. And of course, everything that matters, like the trigger and hammer, I mean, of course, all that is steel or made out of some kind of metal that's very durable, but for the most part, this rifle is polymer. All right, on the Sig, of course, the quad rail here is polymer. The upper, though, is aluminum. It's made of metal, and you can definitely tell that when you pick this thing up, and we'll wait in just a little bit. The lower is polymer. And then, of course, the buttstock and everything out here is going to be polymer also. Although it does have kind of a metal lockup here. Well, it's got a metal button here that locks up into polymer up in there. All right, so let's just quickly talk about pricing on both of these rifles. And this is probably something I don't have to talk about because you probably have looked at this, but the Smith is a little bit more expensive for a tactical 22 rifle most of the time. Although I did just see a deal this morning on Buds where they had some of the crazy colors, the Harvest Moon and I don't know, the Muddy Girl, and there was one other one, but they were on sale for like $339. I have seen this same model for sale at Palmetto for $299, but that only lasted for a little while and I haven't seen it again. That's the absolute lowest that I've ever seen this rifle. Typically, you're going to find it around the $400 mark. $375 really just on an average day is going to be the absolute lowest that you're going to find this, and really probably $400 from what I've been seeing in the last 4 or 5 months as I just go back and check every once in a while. About $400 is the lowest, and then of course up to $500 depending on which model you get, or maybe even more than that. But I'm going to say $375 is going to be the lowest, up to about $475 for this rifle. Now, the Sig is even more expensive than the Smith, and I've never really seen it on just a super good sale. There may have been, but I've watched for quite a while, and I've never seen it on a very good sale. I think I got mine off of Gunbroker for $375, and like I said, it was used. But that rifle is pretty expensive. $475 really is the lowest that I've seen, and then of course it goes up from there for the different variants that you can get in that. But even with the Smith being a little bit more expensive, the Sig is even more than that. Okay, let's quickly talk about variants here. The 1522 has a whole lot of variants. You can get it where it doesn't have a threaded barrel, where the stock is fixed. You can get state compliant versions of this rifle For New York, there's gun shops that can do the customization where you can't have your pistol grip coming straight down and all of those. You can get this rifle where it has stock furniture on it, like a standard AR-15. You can get it where it comes with Magpul furniture on it. You can get it, like I mentioned a second ago, in all kinds of colors. You can get it in the Harvest Moon and Muddy Girl and pink and maybe even a camo. I can't remember for sure, but for sure on these type of rifles, I just like a standard plain black rifle. But there's all kinds of variants of this rifle. On the 522, it has several variants, not quite as many as the 1522, but you do have a fairly good selection of options with this. There's the 522 Classic, the 522 SWAT, the 522 Commando, the SWAT Commando, and then the Target model. And like I said, mine's one of the earlier versions, and the way you know it's an earlier version is that this stock is collapsible. The newer version of this, the Classic like this stock does not retract this direction. It still folds, but it's fixed in this direction. The 1522 is made to mimic a AR-15, and of all the 22 tactical rifles, the 1522 really does it better than any other, besides just buying a 22 upper conversion that you mount to your standard AR-15 lower. Of all the just completely dedicated 22 tactical rifles, the 1522 does it the absolute best. And we'll get into that in a little bit why more, and it's basically comes down to controls. But this thing mimics the AR-15 very well. The Sig 522 obviously is made to mimic its bigger brother, the Sig 556, which is the American designation of the Sig 550. But it mimics that very well. Unlike this rifle, the Mossberg 715T, which is a good rifle, but it only really looks the part. There's so many things about this that's not even close to being AR-15. The mag release, this charging handle, not even close. The safety is a cross bolt. All right, and if we weigh these, I know you can't see this, but down here it's just a little bit more than 5 pounds. It's about 5 pounds 4 ounces. The Sig 522. And again, I know you can't see this, but it's right at 7 pounds. So the Sig is definitely a heavier rifle. And of course, that's because of this upper that's made out of aluminum or metal or whatever it's made of. Okay, so the sighting system on this, and of course you can tell that I've kind of had those off here, been doing different stuff with it. But on the 522, mine came with the standard stock aluminum sights. And they're very nice. And I have this rear sight on another rifle somewhere, but these are very nice on the Smith, and they work just like a standard sighting system. And I believe on this one it has the 2 apertures where you flip it up and down between just 2 different apertures. Now on the 522, that kind of a blade. And like I said, I bought mine used, and the rear sight on this, the part that slides back and forth right here for being adjustable, it came without that. It was broken off, so I'm not sure what's up with that. So I really haven't ever been able to test that out. I've always just put a red dot on here. Okay, let's just talk about the buttstocks real quick. Of course, like I said, I put this Magpul furniture on here, and this 1522 uses mil-spec diameter stuff. So if you're wanting to put a different buttstock on here, you need to get a mil-spec diameter buttstock. Okay, and the Sig, and like I said, mine's the earlier version, so it's adjustable in 2 directions, back and forth, and then, well, it can fold over as well. But both of these are pretty nice. Of course, the one criticism of this earlier version is how wobbly this buttstock is, and mine's kind of wobbly. But for that matter, this buttstock is kind of wobbly on the 1522 also, and even with the stock buttstock that was on it, it was kind of wobbly as well. All right, pistol grips. So this is just a standard Magpul AR-15 grip, and you can see there's a little gap right here. But really, most AR-15 pistol grips you can put right onto this rifle very, very easy. There's an extra spring in there, so be careful of that. But very easy here to put on basically any kind of pistol grip that you want. On the 522, it is replaceable and it's easy to get to, but there's not a whole lot of options. Hogue makes a couple that you can put on here, And there's also a company called Manicore Arms, and they have their Scorpion pistol grips, I believe, that work on here also. So there's some option for putting different pistol grips, but not anything like on the 1522. Okay, another thing is that these two rifles are both very reliable. Neither one of them is ammo picky. I've shot the cheapest stuff I've shot. Winchester White Box and Remington Golden Bullet out of both of these, and not just shooting a little bit, but shooting mag after mag after mag. And as far as the rifle functioning, it does exactly like it's supposed to. Occasionally a round is a dud, but that's obviously ammo related. But these will feed anything and just very reliable. So as far as that's concerned, you're not going to have a problem with either one of these. All right, let's compare magazine options. So on the 1522, you can get the standard 25 round magazine from Smith, and they also have a 10 round magazine. I don't have any of those. And there's also this Plinker Tactical that's a 35 round magazine. And I think it was Pro Mag early on was making a 1522 mag, but it was so similar to the standard 1522 mag that Smith sued them and they had to stop selling those. But from what I understand, those are sweet magazines, but they're just too expensive now. But I think they were like a 30 round magazine or something like that. And then, of course, Black Dog also makes a 50 round drum for this rifle. And these mags are very cheap. In fact, I bought these, and these are kind of questionable quality. Some people love them, some people hate them. But I bought these for like $7, and I see sale on these things all the time. Now, the standard Smith magazine is also relatively cheap. I think I picked up several of these 25 rounders for about $11, $12 a piece. And typically you can find them right around there, maybe 13 or 14 on just a regular day. But these mags are plentiful and they're cheap, relatively cheap anyways. Now the 522 uses these Black Dog mags. And this is an actual Sig branded mag here. This is a 10 rounder obviously. And I found several of these on sale on clearance, kind of a double clearance at my Big 5, which they're usually high, but they had these on clearance for $7.88, so I picked up several of these. But this is mainly what I have bought, quite a few of these Black Dog mags that have the steel feed lips on them, and you can get these for cheap also. Now the Sig branded Black Dog mags are a little bit expensive, but there's no reason to buy the Sig branded. Just a standard Black Dog mag works perfect. And you can get these for right around the same price as those Smith mags. They're anywhere from, well, I think some of their earlier versions that just had polymer feed lips, they have them on sale, or I don't know if that's off now or not, but you could buy those for $6 or $7 a piece. These steel feed lip ones are, I don't know, $12, $13, $14, somewhere around there. And, of course, these are plentiful also. So no problem getting these mags. So for both of these rifles, the mags are relatively cheap and easy to find. So that's definitely a plus for both of these. All right, let's talk about rifle controls. And like I said earlier, the 1522 really mimics the AR-15 as good as any other tactical 22 does. In fact, it does it better, I believe. So you have your safety here from safe to fire. This is not ambi. You have your mag release right here. Charging handle. Works just like a standard AR-15. And then here's the biggest thing is about the bolt hold, bolt catch, bolt release. This works like a standard AR-15, and it really works out very well. Because even with an empty mag inserted fully, I can drop the bolt on that empty mag. The mag also, whenever it's empty, obviously the bolt is caught. And notice whenever I take the mag out that the bolt does not drop. So this thing works exactly like it's supposed to. I can drop it on the empty mag, and I can pull out the empty mag and it stays open. That's very nice. All right, on the 522, okay, you have an ambi safety. Okay, here's your mag release, and it's ambi also. Okay, here's your charging handle. And this does have a bolt catch, but it doesn't work quite as good as the 1522, because once I let the bolt catch go, now it's being held, but it's being held by the follower of the magazine. So whenever I pull this mag out, it won't, it doesn't hold the bolt open. So if this is like your last round, the last round is not held by the actual bolt catch, it's just held by the follower. If you want the bolt catch to hold it, you have to pull the charging handle far enough back, push this in, then it'll catch it, so that now when I take the mag out, that it holds the bolt. But just if you're shooting and you shoot the last round and you pull the mag out, that bolt is going to close. All right, takedown on these rifles. Both of them are very easy. So the 1522 works just like a standard AR-15. Have these push pins that are retained. Bring that up. Pull out your pivot pin. And there you go. Got your lower. Got your upper. This pulls out. So very, very easy takedown. Very easy to clean this thing. Okay, the 522 is nearly exactly as easy. So push this back pin out. Now to get the bolt out, you've got to bring it back to here, pull the charging handle out this way, out the right side of the rifle, and then your bolt pulls free from there. And then of course, same thing here, your upper pulls free from your lower just as easy. All right, trigger pull on both of these is pretty good on both of them. So I'm going to put in some of my snap caps here into both of these. All right, so the trigger, there's just a tiny little bit of take up, and this thing just breaks just after the tiniest bit of take up. So let me let you listen to this. That's all the way back. And then for reset, there's the reset, and just a little bit further out to the full resting position. This one barely pulls at all. All right, just a tiny bit of take up and then crack, and then that's as far back. And then for resets, right there. The good thing about the Smith is you can put nearly any standard AR-15 trigger in here. You can drop whatever trigger you want to in that. And so you can put in a 3-pound trigger, whatever you want into this thing. The Sig, you can do some adjustments to the spring in there to make it a lighter pull, although to me it's awesome as it is. But you can do a little bit of adjustment to that, but there's just so much more flexibility with the 1522. In fact, you can put a slide fire kit on this thing, put in a 3-pound trigger and put on a slide fire stock, and they do sell a kit for the 1522 where it has a reverse muzzle brake, which increases the recoil and makes it bump fire a whole lot easier. But just you have so many options of putting different triggers in the 1522, which kind of leads me to the next point is the 1522. You have so many more options for aftermarket parts. You can put in any AR-15 trigger that you want. You can put on any AR-15 pistol grip that you want. You can put on any AR-15 mil-spec buttstock that you want. You can change out this quad rail very easy. You have to get an adapter kit, but then you can basically put on, all kinds of options of quad rails that you can put on there. Now for the quad rails on the 522, there are a couple companies that make some aftermarket stuff, like Samsonite makes one. And there may be one other I can't think of right now, but there are some aftermarket options on that, but just nothing near the 1522 on that. All right, and trigger pull, and I know I need to get a better trigger pull gauge than this, but That shows about 4 pounds, which from me testing it, it's about half a pound light sometimes. So this trigger on the Sig is probably about 4.5 pounds, 4.5 to 5 pounds. All right, and then on the 1522, shows about 4.5, which that's about right, because I think the Smith trigger, the stock trigger, is about half a pound to a pound heavier than the Sig. So the Sig's about 4.5, and my Smith pulls anywhere from 5 to 5.5 pounds, somewhere around there. And then of course you just saw me do that, pulling the trigger on both of these without magazines. So obviously neither one of these have magazine safety disconnects, which I'm definitely cool with that. All right, let's talk about warranty for a second. The Smith has awesome warranty. Have any kind of problems, you blow out an extractor, which that's what I've seen more of anything people talk about on forums, but especially on some of the older rifles, the older bolts. But if you have any problems with this rifle, Smith is very good about taking the rifle in, getting it fixed, and getting it back to you in a very, very quick manner. The Sig, on the other hand, I've never had to do warranty work with either of them, so this is definitely not first-hand knowledge. It's just me from reading on forums. But on the Sig, from what I understand, Sig is not the best about warranty. They will do it, but obviously it doesn't transfer, and they're kind of particular about you having proper documentation or whatever. The Sig warranty is going to be a little bit stickier than the Smith. The Smith is just very good for that. All right, so I want to go ahead and kind of wrap up here. Now, I haven't really said this in the review yet, but I want you to know, between these two rifles, I think that if you want just one tactical 22 that's not a real AR-15 lower, and you put some dedicated 22 upper on it, but you're looking for a true standalone that was only made for that purpose to be a tactical 22, I think if you're trying to decide on just one in your collection, I honestly believe that these two are probably the two that I would choose from. Now, I've got a lot of other tactical 22s. Like I said, I've got a lot of videos on those. And there's a lot of those that are awesome rifles. And I'm not trying to put any of those down, because, like, this H&K 416, this is a sweet rifle. But I think these are probably the two most serious tactical 22s that you can get. They're just, there's nothing really gimmicky about either one of them. They're made to just work. So I really believe that both of these are probably the two top tier tactical 22s. Of course, they're probably the two most expensive, or one of the most expensive. All right, so let me quickly give you some pros and cons that I just try to come up with a little list here. All right, so pros for the 522 is that it is very, very high quality. The takedown on it is very easy. It's a serious rifle. There's nothing gimmicky, like I said earlier. It's just a sweet rifle. The cons on the 522 is that the first generation stock is wobbly, and you see people talking about that. It's an even more expensive rifle than the 1522, and there's not a whole lot of aftermarket parts for it. There's some, but there's not just a whole bunch of them. All right, now for the 1522, its list of pros, it's a very nice rifle. So these two have the same pro as far as that's concerned. It's a very high quality rifle. The plethora of aftermarket parts that you can buy for this, of triggers and buttstocks and pistol grips and quad rails and all of that, you just have so many options with the 1522. It's easy to take down. It replicates the AR-15 more closely than any other tactical 22. Okay, the cons on the 1522 is that it's kind of expensive, not quite as expensive as that, but it's a little bit more expensive than a lot of the other 22 tactical rifles. And also, you can't buy parts from Smith on this. Both of these rifles are just sweet rifles. Both of them are very, very dependable, very reliable, and just great rifles. So there's my comparison of the Smith & Wesson M&P 1522 to the Sig 522. I hope that the things that we've talked about here have been helpful to you. And if you're trying to decide on which one of these to buy, hopefully I've shed a little bit of light on this that'll make your decision a little bit easier. Again, this is B coming to you from GNA today. Thanks for watching. All right, let's quickly talk about rifle controls. So like I said, the 1522 is awesome for the way it mimics a 15. All right, let's just start that over.